What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, First Presbyterian Church, Murfreesboro, YouTubes. This is your daily meditation for Thursday, April 21, 2022. 4/21/2022. Glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in. As lots of you know, many of you know, I started a Doctor of Ministry program at Calvin Theological Seminary last year. I'm just beginning my second year of coursework for that. And one of the classes I'm taking is called Transformational Leadership. This is leadership class, and a lot of interesting books to read for that class. This is the phase I'm in right now. I'm just reading a ton of books. And I wanted to share one thing with you from one of the books that I read, and a little kind of prayer or blessing that is at the end of this chapter that I think is great, and it fits for us and for anybody, any group of people trying to figure out who they are and what God is up to in our midst and in our communities, and how we can be participating in what God is doing. So the book that it comes from is called Strengthening the Soul of Your Leadership, Seeking God in the Crucible of Ministry by Ruth Haley Barton. And this comes from the end of the book, chapter called Re-envisioning the Promised Land. Obviously, the author is writing about leadership and leadership in the church, and these things apply to, she's applying them directly to leadership, but I think they apply to, especially the message here, for everyone. Think back over this past couple of years. All of us have had to make adjustments. Things have needed to be sacrificed. We all lost things, had to abandon experiences that we were hopeful to have, all of that. And now here we are kind of reorienting ourselves to life and to routines and to being together and to coming and going. But we're also facing the reality that things might not ever be the way they were. Or maybe we're not going to see all of our dreams come true. Some things we had hoped for, we had to let go of. Some things that we hope for are coming about, and some things aren't and may not. And the author wants to point out that God is helping us to realize that change is part of life. Change is coming. And at the same time, God wants to draw us deeper into God's self, into himself. She writes, as the old hymn goes, the things of earth will go strangely dim as the presence of God becomes more real. And I really hope that that's my prayer for us, not only as individuals, but as a community, as we move forward in these next weeks and months, kind of reorienting ourselves to what it means to be the church here in Murfreesboro. And the framework that she uses throughout the book is Moses and Moses' life, and she kind of uses Moses as the touch point for her leadership model that she's talking about. But here, what she wants to call to our attention is that moment when Moses' ultimate letting go, where God invites him to go up to the peak of Mount Nebo and to look at the promised land one more time. And if you'll remember the story, Moses never gets into the promised land. After all of his journey and struggles and everything, he actually never gets to go in. And it's not like he's some old feeble man or whatever. He's vigorous. He's able to climb this mountain, as scripture tells us. And there he is up there looking at the promised land, which he has to let go of personally, She makes this really beautiful point that for Moses, the presence of God became the promised land. Everything else paled in comparison, even the land itself, and being in God's presence became the promised land for Moses. But he had to let go of it. He had to let go. And so this raises a lot of interesting questions, I think, not only as a leader in the church, but even for you, it can raise really interesting questions. What is that thing that you can see, that you know, and nothing can beat it out of you? Nothing can pull your heart away from it. What is that thing? What is the promised land for you in your life? Even when people say it's impossible or you're too idealistic or whatever, what is that thing? What has been your promised land that has brought you up into this moment in your life? And what does God want to say to you about it? What do you want to say to God about it? Here's one of the questions she asks. Have you come to the place where you are free from your attachment even to this promised land, so that however God guides you, you are able to say yes? And so I'm going to read this kind of prayer from Rainer Maria Rilke, which is awesome. But I want to remind you, this is the first week after Easter, and Christ has risen. Moses' friendship with God lasted forever. And you remember later in the New Testament, we see Moses on a mountain again, and he's with Jesus and, Elijah? He's up there with Moses. It's Elijah and Jesus. Anyway, I want to reinforce Jesus not only as Savior to us, but as friend and partner in life. Christ who dwells within us as we live and move. And so here's the Rilke. I hope you can make this your prayer. God speaks to each of us as he makes us, then walks with us silently out of the night. These are the words we dimly hear. You, sent out beyond your recall, go to the limits of your longing. Embody me. Flare up like flame and make big shadows I can move in. Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final. Don't let yourself lose me. Nearby is the country they call life. You will know it by its seriousness. Give me your hand. That's it. Have an excellent, excellent day and weekend. Grace and peace. We will see you next time.